On the morning of July 14, 1789, the streets of Paris were filled with whispers of revolution. The Bastille, a symbol of royal tyranny and oppression, stood in the heart of the city, but its days were numbered. That day would go down in history as the start of the French Revolution, a moment that would forever change the course of the nation and the world. By the late 18th century, France was in turmoil. The country was drowning in debt, caused in part by its involvement in the American Revolution and lavish spending by the monarchy. Meanwhile, the common people, or the Third Estate, were burdened by high taxes and food shortages. Starvation was rampant, and the people were angry. King Louis XVI and his queen, Marie Antoinette, were seen as symbols of excess and indifference. Marie Antoinette, often criticized for her lavish lifestyle, was famously quoted as saying, "Let them eat cake," though there is no evidence she actually said this. Still, it became a symbol of how the monarchy seemed detached from the suffering of the poor. The situation reached a boiling point in May 1789, when King Louis XVI convened the Estates General, a meeting of representatives from all three estates, the clergy, the nobility, and the commoners. The Third Estate, representing the common people, found themselves heavily outnumbered and underrepresented, leading to frustration. By July, tensions had escalated. The Third Estate had declared itself the National Assembly, vowing to write a new constitution. As the revolution spread, the people feared that the king might use military force to quash their efforts. The Bastille, a former fortress turned prison, was seen as a symbol of royal oppression. Though it housed only a small number of prisoners, it was the king's prison, where political dissidents were held. The people of Paris were angry, and their target was clear: the Bastille. On July 14th, a crowd of revolutionaries, many armed with only makeshift weapons, gathered outside the prison. They sought to free prisoners, but more importantly, they hoped to seize weapons and gunpowder to defend themselves against the royal troops. As the crowd approached the Bastille, they faced fierce resistance from the guards, but the revolutionaries' numbers were overwhelming. After hours of violence, the Bastille's gates were breached. The guards were either killed or taken prisoner. And just like that, the fortress that had symbolized royal power for so long fell. Inside, the revolutionaries found only 7 prisoners, none of whom were the political dissidents they had hoped to free. Yet the message was clear. The people had struck a blow against the monarchy, and their victory would reverberate across France. While the fall of the Bastille was a symbolic victory, it set off a series of events that would alter the course of French history. The king was forced to recognize the revolutionaries' power. Paris, and later the rest of France, was engulfed in revolutionary fervor. Soon after, the National Assembly began to work on reforms, including the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen, which established the principles of liberty, equality, and fraternity, values that would form the foundation of the new republic. These ideas echoed throughout Europe and became the foundation of modern democratic thought. The revolution soon radicalized. New leaders emerged, including Maximilien Robespierre and Georges Danton, who would later lead the revolution into more violent phases, such as the Reign of Terror. But the fall of the Bastille also signaled a new era of uncertainty and violence. The Reign of Terror saw the rise of the guillotine, as revolutionary leaders sought to purge France of enemies of the revolution. Thousands of people, including King Louis XVI and Queen Marie Antoinette, would soon be executed as the revolution became more radical. The storming of the Bastille would mark the beginning of the end for the monarchy in France, but its effects would ripple across Europe. The ideals of the revolution, liberty, equality, and fraternity, would inspire future revolutions, including those in Haiti, Latin America, and even in the early 19th century across Europe. Today, the Bastille stands as a symbol of the power of the people, and July 14th is celebrated annually as Bastille Day, a national holiday in France. It's a reminder of the day when the people rose up against tyranny and forever changed the course of history. The storming of the Bastille was more than just the fall of a fortress. It was the spark that ignited the French Revolution, a movement that would reshape the world, challenge the old order, and lay the groundwork for modern democratic ideals. It was the beginning of a new era,